fantasy versus reality. When you're a drinker, I've covered this, I've touched on it a little bit. You have this vision in your head that you're going to have a lovely time in the pub. And you probably did when you were younger, or you weren't drinking to excess. But when you've been through a few scrapes, you've maybe been off the alcohol for a while, you maybe relapsed, you still have this vision, this fantasy as I call it, of having a good time with drink, like you used to when you first started. So my fantasy was always to find a pub with a log fire and just sit comfortably with the dog and have a few pints. Now, I don't know how many times I tried that, but it always failed. And one particular time, remember, I'd been off for 2 years off the drink, and I had this fantasy of maybe meeting a new person and having a few drinks with them, and then it'd been all right. However, you know what I'm going to say. So I hadn't been drinking for 2 years, and I decided, because I had a couple of bottles of Stella, I don't know why I refer to Stella, but any lager that's decent, Peroni or something, in the cupboard. I hadn't drunk for 2 years, okay? Now, the fantasy was to have a couple of these drinks and just feel all right. So I had one, and I thought, oh, it's fantastic. It was so good to have this feeling of, oh, I'm back in the drink again. I can just have a couple. The fantasy is just having a couple, you see. And I had a couple of drinks, and I thought, this is great. Go and meet this woman. It wasn't particularly good. It was years and years and years ago, if anyone's listening. And the day was all right. I thought, well, I'll have a couple of pints, I'll be all right. That was my fantasy. Again, this is day one, remember, day one. So I'm sitting there, a few drinks. I thought, oh, that's quite good. Get a taxi home, and I'll be maybe off the drink tomorrow. So I thought, well, I got up the next day, and I thought, well, that was quite a good day. I was retired by then. I thought, well, why don't we just ease yourself into it, have a few more drinks, but just take it easy. The fantasy's still there, you see, of going to the pub, watching the football, put a bet on, or whatever you want to do. Not I'm a gambler, but I know a couple of lads who do. And then you head down the pub, have a few more, and then somebody else comes in. And what happens is, with me, I'm quite a sociable person. I talk to anybody. My girlfriend's always saying, don't tell everybody your business. I try not to. However, sitting there having a chat, and then you meet somebody else, and everyone becomes your mate, you see. You meet John and Dave and Kevin and Steve and Roger and all them, and they all come in every day, don't they? So you think, are they coming in tomorrow? I said, oh no, I might have a day off tomorrow. Then you get a bit bored the next day, and you think, actually, I might just pop down the road and meet them lads. So within about a week, you form this cohesive group, really, and you've got a set of mates, because everyone's your mate when you're in the boozer. Then you start buying each other drinks, and you plan to have 3 or 4, don't you? So there's 3 people there. I'm going home the next hour, and somebody else comes in, and they join. I know one lad. He says all day, man, from 11 o'clock or 9 o'clock, whatever time he gets in to the pub. He says, I'm going after this one. He's still at 11 o'clock at night. I said, you never go home after that last pint. You never ever do. He never goes home. So this fantasy then turns into a bit of a habit. So you think I'm doing all right, but I'm feeling a bit dizzy, a bit lightheaded. I'm not really eating very much. You sort of look back a few weeks prior and you think, well, I was going right. I was all right then. I was going to the gym. And it's still going out of the pub, you see. But the fantasy of just going in for a couple has just disappeared now. So you're feeling a bit rough, and then you start to drink a little bit in the morning. You still think you've got control of it, you see. Because in my naive way, I thought, well, I've never drank spirits and wine. I'm going to be all right with beer, you see. Or lager, in my case. Sometimes I have Guinness. Not that you want a whole menu of what I used to drink, but it was mainly lagers and beers. And as time went on, next 2 to 3 weeks, I started to feel a little bit dizzy and a bit just not myself, a bit meh, you know what I mean? And this is how it catches up with you. So what you start to do is you start to self-medicate a little bit and think, oh, I'm going to get back to square one here. But you try and pull yourself around. And then comes the weekend and you get a phone call. You come down to the pub and you think, no, I'm not going to bother. But then you do, because you fear of missing out. You say you don't want to miss out what's going on. Oh, it's really busy in here. There's a few people you like to meet and all this current. So you go down to the pub again, get a taxi down. Maybe you haven't had much to eat. That's a weekend, and then you start drinking again. And then you become on this roller coaster of up and down, up and down. Your emotions change. And relapsing is so dangerous, you see. So the fantasy that you had of going down for 2 or 3 pints or meeting another woman or whatever, meeting another man, whatever, that all dissolves within, I would say, 2 to 3 months. And you're back to square one or further back than you were before. Because physiologically, your body doesn't take well to relapse mentally and physically, because you've had a bit of a detox for 2 years and then you're hammering it with drink again, you see. So the disaster just comes, it just will always happen. To relapse and to pick up that first drink, the first drink will take you back, okay? The first drink has got a success rate, 100% success rate of taking you back. Think about it. How many times have you thought to yourself, right, I've been off the drink for weeks, months, years. I'm just going to have one and I'll be all right. That's never, ever happened to anybody I know, or even anybody who's on this channel. There was a fantastic quote that the first drink has a 100% success rate of taking you back to square one and beyond. And the more you relapse, the worse it will get. I didn't know that because I was naive. I'm not now, thankfully, because I've been in hospital. I've had all sorts of things done to me. I'm here to live, hopefully a long life and to tell the tale. Now, as soon as you pick that first drink up, you think you're in control, but the alcohol is going to control you. And it controls your mind. That's the thing. It's a mind-altering drug. So you take this one drink, as I did, to go and meet this woman. And then a few months later, I'm drinking in the morning. I'm drinking all night. I'm drinking all day. I'm not eating properly. I'm not doing any exercise. My bank balance is coming down like faster than snow off a dike. So all the time you're thinking, God, I wish I hadn't had a first drink. But think about it, the 100% success rate. How many times have you said to yourself, right, I just fancy one? I've got people at the moment talking to me, they've been off for 7 days, they're struggling. You will struggle, but you've got to fight on. Focus, 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 and try and think about when you're tempted to have that one drink, try and think about how bad you felt. The headaches, the nausea, the guilt. That's another thing. When you've been off for years, like I was, for 8 years at one point, the guilt I had when I was back after 3 or 4 months, back to drinking full time, and the fact my daughter realised that, my parents realised that, everybody else around me realised that, even the cleaner in the flats noticed that I was drinking too much because I was throwing out bottles all the time. People will notice how you change. You'll change very quickly from being confident, looking good, feeling good, being chatty. You'll just withdraw into this mess again and being isolated and being lonely and frustrated and sick of your life, basically. So just remember that. The fantasy does not exist. Reality exists. But fantasy will lead us down a path to devastation. 100% success rate on that. Guarantee you. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe. If you want to donate anything to support me, there's a buy me a coffee link on there. I've also got an ebook. There's loads of things going on. If you want any subjects covered, then please let me know and I'll sort it out for you. In the meantime, have a great Sunday. Or Monday, as it is.